Now, how would you respond to the notion that Christianity is a religion for beta males because it teaches obedience, humility, and that these things are not really sexy in our day and age? Well, I would say that that those are misunderstandings of what obedience and humility are. Obedience and humility is not, it's not being like this and whatever you say. I mean, obedience and humility is first and foremost obedience to God. So how else could you be healthy and virile and living unless you're living according to God? I mean, look at who is mostly a soy male. I would say it's people on the atheist side of things. Are there a lot of soy Christians? Sure. But I think most of those Christians are unfortunately heterodox. Maybe you could speak to this, Father Deacon. What do you say to somebody who says, well, isn't Christianity a religion of weakness and humility?
I'm trying to remember what movie, Jay, you could help me out with this, where it was like the, oh, wait a minute. I remember it was Schindler's List. And do you remember he uses that psychological tactic? Real strength. I think he's speaking to the guard or something like that, who has absolute power to kill anybody. And he was doing that, and then he says to him, but real strength is having that power and not doing it. And I think that's how that's how God works. God has all the power to destroy all of us. And yet he takes a gentle approach. And that reveals something. That's a strength. So the ability to be obedient in the right ways, in the right context, at the right time, when you don't have to, is a strength, not a weakness.
Yeah. I mean, there's strength in virtue. How could there be strength in vice? I mean, vice leads to death and destruction and degeneracy. You know, Christianity teaches virtue, teaches you to, have a family, to be, productive, to have children, have offspring, to, follow God's law, to be manly, to defend your family and your people. Mm-hmm. Self-defense is a Christian teaching and virtue. And so this idea that this would therefore be, I think maybe you're talking about a lot of what passes for Christianity, which is not Christianity.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So be clear on, and again, we've gotten in these arguments before with other people who think that Orthodoxy is pacifism, and thank God we have warrior saints.
We have warrior saints, yes. Let's go look up the warrior saints and the kings.
Thank God for Saint Olga. So even women have, this beautiful strength and warriorness. And remember, too, I was Protestant. Jay, you were Protestant.
Right.
And I always tell people what they're getting into when they become Orthodox. It will be hard. There was nothing like it when I was Protestant. I was not attacked.
Right.
You will become a soldier. And it's very difficult. So that's very a masculine trait within Orthodox Christianity. The warrior.
Right. Now people are saying, what about turn the other cheek? Okay. So again, the statements that Jesus makes in the Sermon on the Mount are actually not in contrast to what's in the Old Testament. Did you know in the Old Testament you didn't have the right to try to avenge yourself on your neighbor? No, you're supposed to, if you had an issue with your neighbor, you're supposed to, in the Old Testament times, take it up in the courts and do it lawfully. That was what you were called to do. Doesn't mean everybody did that. But the Pharisees had turned these laws into perversions where they said that you could actually hate your neighbor and do these kinds of things. And Jesus was actually just saying that you can't, even if you have to practice self-defense or do these kinds of things, you still don't hate your neighbor or your enemy from your heart. You can kill your enemy and love him at the same time. That's actually legitimately possible to do, because we can do it in the sense of self-defense or for a higher goal of protecting our loved ones and this kind of stuff.
Can you imagine actually applying that for any form of discipline, like discipline your children?
I mean, it's just a basic
Christ says turn
misunderstanding.
the other cheek.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess
y'all,
you gotta let my
as if it's
children-
this universal rule with no context, like always turn the other cheek, right? Jesus didn't turn the other cheek, right? In many cases, he formed a whip of cords and whipped out and beat the money changers out of the.
I came not to bring peace, but the sword. Christ is dividing. Remember Ecclesiastes 3:8 too. There's a time for love.
There's a time for
hate, a time for war,
self-defense.
and a
There's a
time
time
for
for
peace.
martyrdom, right? So it's not a one-size-fits-all, childishness attitude that we're supposed to have.